Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Catholic Life Center, the Diocese of Baton Rouge. I am Deacon Dan Bornet, the Communications Secretary for the Diocese. Today we celebrate a great moment. Our Bishop, Robert W. Munch, will introduce the Bishop Designate of the Diocese of Baton Rouge, Bishop Michael Gerard Duca of the Diocese of Shreveport. Bishop Munch will have an opening comment. Bishop Duca then will respond, and then we will have questions from the media that will be moderated by myself and by the Diocesan Media Liaison, Kelly Alexander, who is there in the blue dress with the media packets. If you are media and have not received a packet, please raise up your hands and we will deliver one to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Bishop Munch.
Well, I have two statements to make. The first is minor, the second one is major. The first one is, I am hydrated. So far. But more importantly, with gratitude to God and to Pope Francis, and with open hearts and open arms, we welcome the appointment of Bishop Michael Duca, current Bishop of Shreveport, to be the Bishop Designate of Baton Rouge. By nature, person, character, disposition, education, and experience, Bishop Duca is eminently qualified for this position as one who radiates the love and joy of Jesus Christ. He brings unique skills, training, and expertise in areas of theology, spirituality, canon law, psychology, seminary and vocations ministry, healthcare, ecumenism, and administration, just to name some. We look forward to the celebration of his installation on Friday, August 24, 2018, the Feast of St. Bartholomew, at 2:00 p.m. at St. Joseph Cathedral, Baton Rouge. I extend my deepest congratulations to you, Bishop Duca, and assure you of my personal support and anticipate your ministry to the church in and of Baton Rouge. As written in the book of Ecclesiastes, there is an appointed time for every purpose under the heavens. 2 days ago at our cathedral, I had the honor to celebrate a Mass of thanksgiving to God and to the people who have been an essential part of 50 years of my being a priest. My 16 years of service as the 5th Bishop of Baton Rouge have been a profound honor and joy. I will forever hold the priests, deacons, vowed religious, seminarians, diocesan and parish administrators and staff, and dedicated lay faithful, deep in mind and heart, in spirit and in prayer. And now I have the privilege and honor to formally introduce to you Bishop Michael Duca.
Bishop Munch hasn't stopped smiling since I saw him last night. I also want, first of all, to thank our Holy Father, Pope Francis, for the confidence he has shown me in naming me the 6th Bishop of Baton Rouge. I was completely surprised by this appointment, and while I am sad to leave the good people of the Diocese of Shreveport, I immediately accepted the appointment without reservation, as I see this as the will of God in my life, and I guess by extension, the will of God in the life of the Diocese of Shreveport and Baton Rouge. I have to tell you, I'm not clear about the why me part. I have to admit that I have been surprised or puzzled by most of the pastoral assignments I have received over my life. But no matter how quick I had to move, or how unprepared I felt, or how overwhelmed or humbled, In every case, when I embraced the assignment without reservation, I found the joy and blessings I know now that God intended. I fell in love with those I served, and I also found that in every case that I discovered the goodness of the people of God. Might as well get this out, then I can talk some more. Bishops don't always carry a Zaketa around with them. Moving around today, I put it in my pocket at Mass this morning. At least I don't think they do. I don't think maybe they do. I intend to do no less here in Baton Rouge, and I will give myself completely to you as your bishop and the work before us to build the kingdom of God here in this portion of South Louisiana. I want to thank Bishop Munch for his hospitality and welcome. I look forward to having him as a close advisor and friend. And I also look forward to meeting the priests and deacons of the diocese and also the diocesan staff. But in the end, the priests, deacons, and lay leaders of the parishes and institutions are those that I most want to be seen as in solidarity with. They are the ones we and the Catholic staff here are here to support, because they are the ones, the outreach that touch the people of God. And so thank you for the warm welcome you've given me, and I'm open for some questions. I guess I will say, first of all, just kind of some context, this is a very big year for me because I celebrated my 40th anniversary as a priest and 10th year anniversary as a bishop. And now I have the opportunity to begin again in a new diocese. Some people say it's an opportunity. I'll look at it that way. It's an opportunity. But it is a very big thing to change at this time in life. But I am excited about the opportunity before me here in Baton Rouge.
Thank you, Bishop. We'll now take questions from the media. Please identify yourself, your media outlet, and please loudly ask your question so we can pick it up on the mic. And let us know whether it's directed to Bishop Designate Duca or to Bishop Munch. Thank you. Who's first?
Okay.
I'm Bonnie Van with the Catholic Commentator, and I'm formerly of the Diocese of Shreveport. So coming down to Baton Rouge, do you feel like this will be an easy transition for you?
I am way over my head here. I mean, the water here is way over my head. I mean, I've always understood. I've been in Louisiana 10 years. Now, I also know that people down here in South Louisiana don't really know if I've been in Louisiana or not, you know. You know, I haven't had a bishop's meeting up in the north for the 10 years. I've been driving down to Baton Rouge. And so I know that there's North Louisiana, there's South Louisiana, and there's New Orleans, okay? And I don't even know enough to know how much I don't know about South Louisiana to even be worried about how much I don't know. So culturally, I know that I'm in a different place, and I have to learn the culture and learn the way people interact. I do know that I carry with me from North Louisiana and also from Texas, I think a great sense of hospitality here, a great love of family and food. Now there I speak the language, okay? From early on, I had in my first parish in Dallas, a man named Ken Ardoin who taught me the joys of crawfish and boiled shrimp. And from that day on, fell in love with Louisiana cuisine. So I am very well versed in food. That I can hold my own there. But I will need your help to guide me in other ways. And so I think in terms of the pastoral ministry, I love it. And that I think is the same. That's the one thing about the church. Even though there may be a great difference in culture, there is one church language, you might say, the language of the Mass, the language of the sacraments, the language of prayer. Those things I know, and those are part of our lives together that we already share. So we start off together on that. The rest is, I say, lagniappe that I'll have to learn along the way.
Next question. Yes.
Gabby Smith with Catholic KD Radio for Baton Rouge and New Orleans. First of all, we're really excited for you to be
Yeah.
here. Just curious, what's happening in Shreveport with the new bishop in Shreveport?
Well, the way this works is that until I am formally set in the cathedra, you might say, here in the cathedral, Bishop Munch will remain the apostolic administrator of this diocese, and I will remain the bishop of our diocese until I leave. When I become bishop here formally, then they will gather to elect an administrator who will administer the diocese until a new bishop is named. And so that process will begin when I take possession of this diocese on the 24th, right? 24th of August.
Next question.
Yes?
I'm Andrea Gallo with The Advocate. Over the past couple of weeks, we have seen continued accusations of misconduct by priests in New Orleans and Lafayette, even in Washington, D.C. I'm wondering if something like that were to happen here, what your approach would be to it.
Well, I'm going to guess it's the same approach, hopefully, that we take throughout the church, to be open and transparent about the accusation, to speak about it. If it happens in a parish, to make sure that the parishioners there know, and so that anyone that may have been affected that have not come forward would come forward, and try to address the issue, to care for those who are victims, and to make sure that the healing process begins, and that any priest that is, or any person that works for the church that is a victimizer, you might say, or would be removed from ministry immediately. So no, I'm very well versed in taking things in a very open and honest way and transparent way.
Questions? Comments? Questions?
Another one.
Yes.
In Baton Rouge, over the past couple of years, there have been church parishes closing, merging, schools closing as the population shifts and as we grapple with a priest shortage that Bishop Munch has had to deal with. How do you handle those sorts of challenges?
Well, as I understand it, these kind of questions, I'm at a disadvantage. I really know nothing about Baton Rouge, okay? I know I drive in, I-10, come to the Catholic Center for a meeting, and I get out of town, okay? And so now one of these days I'm going to drive and stay, okay? But I will tell you, I hear already that there is a group working to work collaboratively with the parishes in order to be sensitive to the individual characters of parishes, but also to face the reality of a dwindling number of priests. And so the two ways you approach that, first of all, you try to increase the number of priests, number of seminarians, and I hope to do that. I have a lot of years of work in vocation work. I was a rector of a seminary for 12 years, so I understand a lot about the vocation and the discernment of vocations of young men for the priesthood. The second thing is you also begin to work in some kind of proactive way to help maximize the talent that you have. And so I hear they're already beginning to move slowly in that process. It sounds, what little bit I've seen just from looking on the internet, that's what you do when you get to a bit, you start looking at the internet, and you get usually a partial and usually not completely right picture, but it seems like they're moving collaboratively, and that would be the way you do it. Move slowly, move collaboratively, with respect, to give people a chance to see the church in a different way, because the parish is a very important part of people's lives, and you have to respect that and give it the care it needs to have for any kind of transition to take place effectively and with the people's support.
Any other questions from the media?
I would add one more thing. Yeah, I don't know what the situation is here, but coming from Texas, and we always make an attempt to reach out to people that may not speak English, people that speak Spanish. I'm thinking of right now. And I just have a very short little statement I want to say in Spanish, because especially now when things are just so uncertain for so many people, I'd just like to hear them a few words. I'm not sure they'll get these words, but I'd like to say them now, and then I'll let you know what I'm saying, because it applies to all of us. And I did the best I could on this, so hopefully it will come out the way I want it to. Me gustaría compartir con ustedes algunas palabras, queridos hermanos y hermanas que no hablan inglés, especialmente porque ustedes son parte de nuestra familia católica. Si bien no domino el español, no hablo español bien, sé lo suficiente como para celebrar la misa, los sacramentos y predicarles la palabra de Dios en español. Todos somos una familia en Cristo. Y como su obispo, espero fortalecer esa unidad dentro de la iglesia y trabajaré para que todos se sientan bienvenidos aquí en nuestros diócesis. Basically what I said, for those who do not speak English, that I want them to know that they are part of our family. We are one church. And I can say that openly because I know this is a city of much diversity. When I moved to Louisiana, I thought that I would have shrimp and seafood in my freezer more than I could eat. And I moved to Shreveport, Louisiana, and I ended up with meat pies and tamales, which had been a great gift, a great gift. But I first experienced in Shreveport the diversity of culture and influence throughout this whole Louisiana state. It is a wonderful diversity. And I know we have Vietnamese, African American, we have other cultures that are here all around. And I just want to, we have to always consider that we are one family. And when one part of the family suffers, we all suffer. And we need to have that kind of unity together. There was a speech given at our bishops' conference, oh, my mind's gone blank. He talked about the importance of, oh gosh, what was the word he used? I had it, I was ready to give it, and really the point was that it's important for us to be close to one another, be close in terms of being able to really encounter one another. That the more separated we are, the less unity we'll have. You know this, the minute you meet someone, even if you had nothing good to say about them, once you learn a little bit about their life and a little bit about their struggle, your heart just opens up immediately. And so we need proximity. That was the word he used, proximity. We need to kind of break down bridges and build proximity so that we are talking to one another. With the poor, that we're actually touching the poor, hearing their story. With people of different cultures and different ideas, we need to get close to them to understand their lives. Because in the end, we all want the same thing. So for our brothers and sisters that don't speak English, I want them to know that they are a part of our family. If I could say this in Vietnamese, I would, but that's way beyond me. And I'm not going to try to say it in South Louisiana, because I know that I would mess that up too. So it's my hope that we'll continue to build. And I have the great opportunity and great gift to build on the legacy of Bishop Munch. When I got to Shreveport, some of the bishops, when they become bishops, they said, I hit the ground running. There was so much to do. And I said, when I got to Shreveport, I hit the ground walking. You know, everything was kind of in place. And I kind of feel like that here, that there's a good organization, a good structure, a good spirit in the church. I have a priest, a man lives in Shreveport whose brother is a priest here. And he said, you got the best group of priests in Louisiana. I said, well, besides Shreveport, yes, you got the best. Now I say yes, now they are the best, now because they're my priests. And that was very encouraging. And Bishop Munch has given me the same kind of encouragement. And so I come with a great enthusiasm and excitement. And I hope to hit the ground walking, but a good pace, a good fast pace, and anxious to meet all of you over the next years of my life as a bishop of the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Munch. And a couple of very quick points. Thanks to the media for coming out on such short notice. We had short notice, so you had short notice. Secondly, thanks to the East Baton Rouge Parish, the police department here in Baton Rouge for providing security this morning. A couple of quick notes. On the selection of a bishop, there's an excellent discussion of that on the USCCB website. It gives every step in the event that you want to follow up with what's going to happen in Shreveport. And secondly, we will be updating the information about the installation of the new bishop on a regular basis. And I will give you a couple of websites. They're in the packet for the media, but for those of you who would like to take these down and those of you watching, one is the shepherd.diobr.org website, https shepherd, small letters, .diobr.org. That will be updated regularly as we plan the installation. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/small a, big N, EW, big S, H-E-P-H-E-R-D. Just the N and the S are capitalized. That's on Facebook. Thank you again, and we will be working with you in the course of the installation. Thank you.
Can we get a statement from the bishop on how he feels today?
Sure. Bishop.
I feel fine. Because I have such pleasant memories, deep-seated memories. And as I mentioned at the Mass before, I ran out of water inside of me. And fortunately, I last through the Mass. As I looked around the congregation, I had such a profound emotional experience of individuals and families and clergy and religious who have been an essential part of the 50 years I've had the privilege of being a priest. And one of the great things about being a bishop emeritus, you're still a deacon, you're still a priest, and you're still a bishop. But you don't have to make the decisions. You don't get to go to the meetings. So if you're worried that I'm going to be lonely, pray for me. But I don't think I'm going to be lonely. And no one will be pulling harder for Bishop Duca than Bishop Munch. I will tell you this story when, and I've told this to the bishop. When I became the Bishop of Covington, Kentucky, there was another Bishop Hughes, Bishop William Hughes, who had retired. And I used to approach him as my advisor, and I used to say to him that you have sat in the chair, the cathedra. That's why we use the word cathedral, but not just sitting in the cathedral, but the office of being the bishop of a diocese. And so you have better experience and advice to give me. And he used to have, he's gone to the Lord, but he had this very deep voice. And I'll never forget him telling me, like when I would go with a difficult problem, he'd say, "Well, Bob, that's a very difficult problem. I understand why you find it difficult." And then he would give me the best of advice. And I told him one time, his first name was Bill. We called each other by our first names. I said, "Well, Bill, I hope one day I'll be able to say to somebody, 'Bishop, I understand. That's a very tough problem.'" And that wish has been fulfilled. You see, priesthood, as I said in the homily Sunday, is relational, it's interpersonal. It's not just about making executive decisions. It's not just about organizing and planning and trying to bring together. Priesthood is a spiritual privilege. And I was telling someone the other day, I had a regular visit with one of my doctors, and as I was leaving the office, there was a lady with a child who got on the elevator, and she looked at me and she said, "This is the first time I've ever met a priest in person." And she was so respectful. And she says, "I've only seen priests on TV." And I felt like saying, "Well, I play a priest on TV." I didn't. But she was so respectful. People are good. We're all made of the same clay. And we all have to try the best that we can. But when you come to a point, the appointed time, it's time now to move to the next stage, the next step. But I do so filled with the joy of the love of the priesthood. And so I will be able to continue as needed the ministry that, and the bishop and I were talking about this, of diaconate, of priesthood, and episcopacy if necessary. But I serve at the pleasure of how Bishop Duca would need me or wish me to help. But I am now in the background. And for the next 2 months in this transition period, we'll be, working out all of that. So therefore, I want everyone to know there is only one diocesan bishop at a time. And that bishop is Bishop Duca. And I, again, will support him and affirm him and assist him in any which way I can. But I've had 16 years here. I've had 28 years being a bishop, along with the 22 years prior to that being a priest. And frankly, being a deacon priest is one of the greatest privileges any of us can have. And with the challenges of being a bishop, there also come, as Bishop Duca mentioned, great joys, closeness to people. And Sunday at that Mass, as I was looking at the congregation and the people in the sanctuary, it just put inside of me intangible as well as tangible memories of the joy of priesthood. And if I can make a commercial, it will be this. For any potential candidates for the Catholic priesthood, think about it, pray about it, consult about it. But I also said on Sunday that from the first day I walked into the seminary at age 13 in 1956, the high school seminary at St. Benedict, now it's college, through the 12 years of studying to be a priest, and through the 50 years of being a priest, the last 28 as either auxiliary or diocesan bishop, by the grace of God, and it is the grace of God. I've had long days, I've had hard days, I've had difficult days, but there was never an instant in which I wanted to be anything other than a priest. Being a Catholic priest means you give up your own personal family, although obviously you maintain your family of origin. And I've been so lucky not only with my 3 sisters, brother-in-laws, and nieces and nephews, great nieces and great nephews, who are just so delightful. And Uncle Bob can be the nice person and doesn't have to tell them time to go to bed, time to brush your teeth, time to do your homework, get off that phone and all that. Unless they do something that could hurt them or someone else, they can get away with anything else. And that's been a great joy. But not just that family. The family of the church and the community. How people are so good to us and what it means. One-on-one, one in small groups, one in large groups. To pray with people, privately or publicly. To be a member of their family by extension. This will not cease. It will be in a new situation. And I welcome this time. I have served my time. It is time for someone younger, with more energy, and to take the baton, the red baton, Baton Rouge, and to take it down the road.